Welcome to the YNTAAY Minis. I'm Chris Smith, and today's a very special day because we are celebrating the 97th birthday of Betty White. That's why I'm wearing my Golden Girls shirt. And Betty White has been very, very special in my house ever since I was born. And not just because I met her at the Wax Museum, Madame Tussauds in Hollywood. Isn't that amazing? But Betty White has been a part of our lives, well, since most of us have been alive. So even on You're Not Taping Again, Are You? In the early years, or early months, Betty White was an important part. Let's take a look.
I think that's why all of her shoes were flat on the Golden Girls. Because she was completely barefoot in B. Arthur on Broadway. It was the same year I saw Elaine Stritch at Liberty. And Elaine Stritch told more dirt than B. Arthur did. B. Arthur kept it a little too safe. She didn't even say, "I hate Betty White because she loves animals more than she loves people." Oh, please don't edit that so that I say, "I hate Betty White. I hate Betty White. I hate Betty White." Betty White will see this and then she'll think that I don't like her. And then she'll say, "Everyone in the world loves me except that one guy." Everybody loves me.
Well, I hope you can tell from that clip, Betty White, that I never said that I hated you. I love you. In fact, I have my Betty White magazine that's put out from Parade. It's a collector's edition, and I recommend that everybody rush out and get it. It is chock full of fun things. And did you know that one time my friend Adam did a picture of the Golden Girls, and he put me and Matt and Brian and Adam, of course, in the picture. Now, warning, this is disturbing, children. Here we are. I am Betty White, Rose. Matt is Dorothy. And of course, Adam is playing Blanche there. And Brian is Sophia. Well, it is a disturbing picture. But it made me feel very close to Betty White. And that's why for Christmas this year, Matt gave everybody these amazing Chia Pet heads from the Golden Girls. So it's the Golden Girls Chia Pet. And I know you're thinking that this looks like Natalie from The Facts of Life, but it is actually a Betty White Chia Pet head. And you grow, and I have the rose one, so everybody got one that went with their picture here. So, very disturbing. But I can't wait to grow that. I'm waiting for the springtime so that my Betty White will just have a really nice Betty White afro. I have so many Betty White things around here. I have my Trivial Pursuit of the Golden Girls. And I won't read you any of these questions now, but there's the little thing in there. There's some hard questions. You really had to pay attention to the Golden Girls, so hopefully you were all watching when it first aired on NBC, as I was, and continue to watch in repeats. Now, look, here's Betty White with Mary Tyler Moore when she was Sue Ann Nivens, and of course here she is with the cast of the Golden Girls, and and Betty White has been in so many movies. She was in The Proposal in recent years, and that alligator movie, what was that called? Lake Placid. Here she is feeding a cow which Betty White would never do. She loves animals so much. But here she is. All Hot in Cleveland. She was wonderful on that. And when I was a little child, I loved that game show, Just Men, that Betty White hosted. I think it only lasted 13 weeks. And I would run home from school at lunchtime and watch the game show, and I loved it. And my mother was so worried that I was watching it just for the men, but I was watching it just for Betty White because I loved her so much. We must mention that Carol Channing passed away this week, and she was about to turn 98 on January 31st. But look, here's Betty White with Carol Channing. Isn't that amazing? They've worked together. Here they are. And Betty White has the most wonderful outlook on life when she talks, or on death, really, because she said that her mother would always say, well, now they know the secret, whenever somebody would die. And that's a wonderful way to look at things. And Betty White is the last of the remaining Golden Girls. So we've lost them all. But Betty White, you are a national treasure, and we just wanted to give a shout out to you and say happy birthday. And look, even Aloysius is here. He's sort of like Fernando, he's a little darker, but he's sort of like Fernando, the little bear that Rose had on the Golden Girls, that awful Sunshine Cadet Daisy kidnapped and held for ransom. You would think it more if his ear was ripped off. Oh, but don't worry, I'm not going to rip off Aloysius's ear. But anyway, happy birthday to Betty White. I feel a kinship to you because you love animals, and I feel a kinship to you because you're such a wonderful person like me, and because I play you in this terrifying picture. We're two roses. Okay. Happy birthday, Betty White. Oh.